Okay, my name is Gandiwa. I work at Parliament as the Assistant Clerk of Parliament of Zimbabwe. Basically, the role of Parliament is to make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of Zimbabwe. The Constitution of Zimbabwe, particularly Section 117, provides that Parliament has got a role to make laws that to ensure that there is sustainable management of national programs. Section 119 of the Constitution also provides that Parliament has a mandate to carry out executive oversight. All institutions and agencies of government at every level are accountable to Parliament. Even the independent commissions, they are accountable to Parliament. Parliament also has got a mandate to represent the wishes of the people. Overall, Parliament's roles are legislative, oversight, and representational role. Over and above that, Parliament has got a mandate to ensure that the process of appointing various commissioners that serve in independent commissions are done transparently, pursuant to the need to ensure accountability and transparency. Over and above that, Parliament also has got a role to ensure that adequate resources have been provided to various ministries so that there is funding for national programs in various areas in the country. Okay, our jurisdiction is a bicameral system as provided for in Section 116 of the Constitution. Parliament itself is composed of the National Assembly and the Senate. The National Assembly is headed by the Speaker, who, pursuant to provisions of 135 of the Constitution, is also the head of Parliament. Then we also have the Senate, which is headed by the President of the Senate. These two houses perform legislative, representative, and oversight functions, so they complement each other. If a bill is introduced, let's say in the National Assembly, then the Senate will be the House of Review, and the vice versa is also true. All ministers have to be members of Parliament except for 5 members who can be appointed from outside Parliament. This therefore automatically means that all ministers, be it for full cabinet ministers or deputy ministers, are accountable to Parliament for the manner they transact public policies and programs. Even the vice president, that is the 2 vice presidents, they are also accountable to Parliament as provided for in Section 107 of the Constitution. Even the president is also accountable to Parliament, and this is usually done by way of a State of the Nation address, which is delivered in Parliament every year. So overall, the executive is accountable to Parliament, and if Parliament is not happy with the performance of the executive, there are provisions for initiating a motion of vote, a vote of no confidence in the executive. Parliament is based in Harare. That's the seat of the Parliament of Zimbabwe. But in the interest or in public interest, in national interest, or safety considerations, Parliament can sit in other areas other than the ordinary seat of Parliament, which is Harare. It will be difficult for Parliament in a plenary session to transact its business. So Parliament established a number of portfolio committees and thematic committees that pay specific attention to the activities of ministries and so on. So our committees, they are accessible to all members of the public, and they can get in anyone with an issue that he or she intends to ventilate before any committee of Parliament can write to Parliament, and will facilitate that interface, because Parliament has got an obligation to ensure public involvement in all its processes, be it legislative or oversight.